Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me for this video response to the Tarot Anti-Bucket List tag. And this is from the lovely Amy over at Strength Reversed. I watched her video when it came out, and then just more recently, Laura from Aquamarine 18 Tarot and Books did a VR, as did Saturnarium. So I will link all of those videos in the description box below. And I just thought this was a clever tag, talking about the goals that we don't have. And I would say a few of my responses definitely echo those of the other three. So, disclaimer for the potentially butthurt, whatever I say is in no way any type of judgment or reflection on your specific goals or anti-bucket list goals. This is just me. First one, like the other three have said, I do not aspire to be a professional reader. I don't have any desire to make tarot reading something that I do for a profit or even a side hustle. I will continue to enjoy reading for my friends, anybody else, where in any situation where it is just natural and organic and just comes up, that's completely fine. But otherwise, I just like that this is something personal that I do, and I'm perfectly content to leave it at that. Another goal that I do not have is I do not want to learn Kipper or Sibylla or runes or oghams, whether that be to use along with the tarot or just as separate divination tools in themselves. I'm fine where I am for now. I do like using Lenormand, but I'm okay where I am, and I don't feel like I need to learn all the things. I did try learning runes a couple of years ago, and I just, ultimately, it's not for me. And so I had thought maybe before that I would come back to revisit and try again, but I don't think so. Along similar lines, I also don't have any aspirations for becoming proficient in Marseille or the Thoth. I have studied both Fathy Thoth for the first time this year, and while I feel it was beneficial for me to get the basics with the Thoth, to do a kind of a refresher round 2 with the Marseille, I'm fine with it just being what it is. I'm fine with not maybe being as comfortable and nimble with Thoth, Fathy Thoth, or Marseille as I am with, say, RWS and more of just the general kind of pip style numerological readings. That's fine by me. Sort of connected to that, another goal that I don't have is that I have no aspirations of being able to read with all the decks that I own without the help of a reference book or a guidebook. I am perfectly fine to have decks where I will just always use the guidebook. It depends on the deck, but there are decks where I think the guidebook is great and I enjoy using the guidebook or a reference book. Maybe there are people out there who feel like, in order to really be able to know a deck, it's like they need to know all the ins and outs of the guidebook and then be able to use the deck without the guidebook or without a reference book. And I just don't hold that same rule for myself. So for instance, Herb Crafter's Tarot, I have a feeling that I will always use the guidebook for that deck because It is a plant-based deck. I know nothing about plants. I doubt I'll ever become an expert in plant, the plant knowledge. And also, I just think the guidebook is fantastic. So I foresee that being a deck that I will always use the guidebook with. Same with something like Spirit Keeper's Tarot. There's just so much to unpack with that deck and with all of the teachings that the guidebook provides. And I don't feel the need to study that book in depth so much that I just don't think there's any way, right? That even if I wanted to be able to just soak in all of that tome and be able to use the deck in that way. Now don't get me wrong, I can use that deck and do use that deck without the guidebook. I think it is usable without the book, but I don't want to not use the book. Also, Lenormand. That is a divination tool where if I kind of put it away for a while, when I come back to it, it's a little rusty. And so I like to refer to the reference books that I have. I don't see that there's anything wrong with it. I am just using Lenormand for myself exclusively, and so why not? Now, I know for professional readings, it's a different situation and it's a different story. Something else that I do not aspire to is the goal of trying to stop future deck purchases, which I know might sound controversial to some, but for myself, that is part of the joy of tarot and having decks and being able to experience new decks from new creators, and also to align with my ever-changing tastes in decks and the type of art that I like to see. Some decks are, just for a reason or a season. And so I like to keep things fluid in that way. And I still strive to be discerning in the decks that I buy and not just buying anything and everything. And it's fun to buy a new deck and explore what it has to offer. So this final one might be a little silly, but I included it anyway. And that is that I do not have the goal of refraining from buying more RWS clone decks. I have definitely heard rumblings out there of, not another RWS clone. Like, people are just no longer being creative with the tarot and we need to see something new and fresh. And that is perfectly fair. And there are times that I have certainly felt that way. And this right here, my Blythe Tarot, oh my goodness, this gives me so much joy. So much freaking joy. Yes, it is an RWS clone, but it reads so well. I never get sick of it. I never get bored with it. And then same for my Masters of the Universe Tarot. It's just, it's such a delight. And the great thing about an RWS clone is that, I don't have to dive into, sorry about the glare here. I don't have to dive into a guidebook or, I can just use it ASAP and just lean into the excitement of a fun deck like this. So best believe that if somebody came out with a Baby Yoda tarot deck in this vein, or Keanu Reeves deck, or just in general a deck of hot Asian men, yeah, I would consider buying that RWS clone for sure. And that is my anti-tarot bucket list. What is yours? Please do share by leaving a comment below or letting me know where you have done your VR on which social media platform of your choice. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Until the next time, much love and take care.